Hey yo guys, what's up? It's Steven here from WebMutual, and I'm excited today because I get to release a new crash course on Python programming. So this course is for everybody. If you are new to Python, it's a good way to get started. Um, and if you are already a Pythoneer, a Python developer, then you can use it as a refresher course. So this series is going to not just, this course is not just going to be a one-off course. I am going to actually do it in parts till I complete, maybe about 3 parts, to complete that on Python, and then I'll be doing more courses in data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence. So let's get started. Okay, so in this our part one out of 3 series for our Python crash course, we'll be looking at Python, what programming language it is. We'll look at the setup, the syntax. We'll look at comments. We'll talk about variables. We'll talk about data types, numbers. We'll look at casting, strings, Boolean, and then operators. So the course is geared towards people who want to pick up data science, machine learning, deep learning, artificial intelligence, or any Python related advanced studies. So let's get right in. Now, what is Python? Python is a popular programming language, and it has been around since the early 90s. It's designed for readability. It has a close syntax to English. So one popular Python syntax that you come across is the print. It's the print statement. Okay, so the print statement basically allows you to output anything on your computer, and so you can see that print is self-explanatory. Python uses new lines to complete every line of code. So unlike other programming languages unlike other programming languages where you need to probably provide a colon to indicate, a semicolon to indicate that you've ended. Python, once you move on to a new line, Python knows that you are writing a new line of code. Okay, unless you are creating maybe a block of code like a function, a class, and then Python knows what it has to do. It also uses indentation, so that is the indentation where you indicate that you are not done with one line and then you want to continue from your previous line. So Python can be used on Windows, Mac, Linux, and several other operating systems. So you can always check if you have Python. Okay, you can check from your search by typing Python, and then you can see that it's installed. But we are not going to use the default Python which comes with your Windows. We are actually using Visual Studio Code. I'm not going to go through the installation. You can check out several other YouTube videos to show you how to install Visual Studio Code. Okay, so now we've talked about the syntax. Okay, so we've talked about the fact that Python uses indentation. So for instance, if I write this, if 6 is greater than, let's say, 4, okay, and then I move on this. Okay, so Python already recognized that this is a block of code, and so whatever that I'm writing is going to still be under this line, and so Visual Studio Code is smart to recognize that I am not done. Okay, so it knows where to continue. Unlike if I don't have this, there's a colon, and then I move on to the next line, and then Python goes to start a new line of code. And the spaces matters. Okay, it has to be same throughout your block of code. So in popular languages like Visual JavaScript, you had to indicate that you are creating a variable. Now, what's a variable? It's a storage for data. In Python, you don't need to declare a variable. You can just create your variable, and you need to assign. So whenever you assign data to your variable, then your variable becomes a valid one. And then we'll talk about comments. Okay, so we'll talk about comments. If I need to block out a line of code from being read, okay, so I can have this is a comment. Okay, and then Python doesn't recognize that. However, it will recognize this. Okay, because it will recognize this and not that. Okay, so let's start ahead. Okay, let's go into our so we've done the setup, and then was talking about the syntax. Okay, so now let's look at everything in details. So let's look at variables. I've talked about the fact that variables are the basic storage or data storage for programming. Most programming languages, the most basic way of storing data is through the variables. So for instance, I can say this, my name, okay, is equal to Steven. Now, let me say this. So I am using Visual Studio Code. So you can always create a new file. Okay, you can create a new file, and then you have to save it. So you can do save or save as. Okay, so whilst you are saving, then you indicate that you are using Python. Okay, so Visual Studio Code allows you to write in several other languages. So I indicate I'm using Python, and then I would say exercise 1. Okay, and then automatically it recognizes that writing codes in Python, so it uses the syntax py. Okay, so I can write a variable. So my name is Steven. My name is Steven. So I'm going to explain everything. So my name here is the variable that I am creating, and then Steven here is the data that I am storing. I can also say my age, it's equals to 5. Okay, so this is also another variable, and then I'm storing another data which is 5. And then I can also say my weight. Okay, so my weight it's equals to, let's say, 68.34 let's say kilograms. Okay, now you realize that I have all this, so these different variables, and then I could also say my phone, let's say password, it's equals to 3 plus let's say 1 let me say 3 plus 1 so let's say 3 plus j, sorry, okay. 3 plus okay, so 3 plus 3 plus let's say 1i, it's 3 plus j, so I think that should be 3 plus let's say okay, so I think 3 plus let's say 5j. Okay, so I think that should be this. Okay, so 3 plus 5j. So this is what we refer to as variables in Python. So my name, my age, my wage, and then my phone password. Now in Python, you can define variables in 3 ways. Okay, so you initially have what refers to as camel casing. Okay, so it's like this. So I can say my first name is equals to Steven. Now this is what we refer to as camel casing. Okay, camel let me just over here. So camel casing. So camel casing here, when you look at the variable, it looks like the shape of a camel. So it rises, it starts from here and then it rises up, it comes down, and then the end here. So you need to have a capital letter for every word after the first word. So my is the first word, it has to be all small, and then every word after that will start with a capital letter and then follow with a small letter. Then you also have what is referred to as so after camel casing, you have what is referred to as the Pascal casing. Okay, so Pascal casing here says that every word starts with a capital and then the rest of that word is small. So you can have like my full age. Okay, my full age, yeah, something like this. I mean, full age doesn't make sense, but just so it can be my age or something. But so you have every word starting with a capital letter. Then you could also have what referred to as the snake casing, where every word in your variable has a small letter, but then you use underscores to separate them, like you have in my phone password. Okay, so you have this being the Pascal casing, and then you have snake casing. So this has to be a convention. Okay, it has to be a convention, and you have to use stick to these 3 types just to make sure that other developers are able to communicate with you. Okay, so now apart from variables in Python, we also have data types. So notice that my first name is stored in quotation. Okay, it's stored in quotation marks. This is a string. Okay, so now this is a string data type. So this is a string data type. Okay, then you can also have a number data type. So you can have a number data type. So an integer number data type. Then you could also have a float. Okay, a float data type. And then lastly, you can have a complex data type. So these are the four major types of data type that you have in Python. So string are surrounded with quotation because they are just letters. Then integers are, as you know, positive or negative whole numbers. So it could be 5, -5, and so on. So this is an integer. And then storing variable precision numbers like units of measurements, you use floats. And then you have complex. So complex number, it's a number that you can't, it's not determined. So you have 3 plus 5j. So they are imaginary numbers where they are a complex as its name, and then where the j is an imaginary number. So I don't know the j, you don't know the j, and then I decide to denote it with just this letter, and that tells me you can't actually find my phone password. Okay, so basically those are the types of data types that you have in Python. Okay, so having known the data type, let's go more into numbers. Okay, so there are a lot of things you can do with numbers. So let's say I have mass of a quantity. Okay, it's let's say 100, or let's say so let's say I have distance of a unit. Okay, distance of a unit is equal to, let's say, 5 kilometers. And then I have time. Okay, it's equal to, let's say, 120 seconds. So I can calculate the speed, okay, of the item, and you know that speed is equals to distance, okay, distance times time. Okay, so I can find the speed. So the only way to the way to output a unit, to output something in Python is to use the print statement. So that's why I told you is the most common or most used keyword in Python. Okay, so I can save and then I can run, and then I get 600. So 600 here represents the speed of the item. So I talk about keyword. What is a keyword? A keyword is a reserved name in Python. Okay, so that means these words shouldn't be used anywhere. For instance, print. Okay, so if I decide to print, it's going to throw an error. It should throw an error because print is a built-in function. So it represents something in Python, and so you cannot use it anywhere else apart from its intended use. So you denote that speed. Okay, so I can do that and then all that. Great. Now let's look at one other thing. So let's say my age, okay, is equals to 5. So I told you over here that 5 over here is It's a integer. Okay, so let's say I want to print that my age is 5 in my terminal. Okay, so I can just do print. Okay, and then I can say, let's say I say that so to print a text directly, I have to insert it in a quotation. So Python treats it as just normal text, and then it has to print that. So my age is, okay, so I can just say my age is 5, but that doesn't make sense. So when I run, so you can have my age is 5, but that is not a good way of programming, because our major task in coding is to be able to automate every process. So I want people to pass their age here dynamically, so that I don't have to always rewrite this code to conform to a new age. Okay, so what if I say that my age is plus? Now, plus here means I am concatenating. Okay, so in as much as I was able to say, I can say that, let's say, let me do this. So in as much as, so let me do this. Let me comment. Okay, so you comment by using your control or your command, and then using the backslash. So why do you need to comment? So you have to comment if you want Python to ignore some lines of code. It could be for purpose of explaining what your code does, or debugging. Debugging here means you want to fix an error, or you can just use a comment to omit some lines out of your general code. So like what I'm doing, I want to show you something, and so I have just commented this code, and then I can uncomment it later on when I need. So I can simply say A is equals to 5, and then B is equals to 6, and then I can say Z is equals to A plus B. So I can easily print Z. So I could have just printed A plus B, but I can also store Z in as the result, and then print Z, so that I can use Z elsewhere in my code. So when I run this, so it's 11. Now this over here is performing an addition. It's performing an addition. Okay, but then you can use the same plus operator to concatenate or to, so let me uncomment. I can just do control backslash to join to join strings together to form a new string. So concatenate. So concatenate here means I am joining two different data or values of variables, okay, but I am not adding them, to be precise. So what if I say age? Now notice that age here represents 5. It could be anything, so I can change age, and then now let's see what happens if I print my result. So let's say I print this. Now you see I'm getting an error, can only concatenate string, not integer to string. So what it's saying is that whilst this would have worked if there were two integers or there were two numbers, a string and a number will not work. It will not work because you cannot, it is not allowed. So the only way you can resolve this is to do what we call casting. So what is casting? Casting means you want to forcibly convert one data type to another. So how do I cast my age number to a string. So make it behave like string in this line of code. So I can just do this. Okay, so I'll just do this. And then when I save and then I run, it should work now. So okay, so let me run my code again. Good, so it's working. Okay, so you can see my age is 5. Now this is not so good because you have 5 joining to the age. So what you can also do is to bring an additional space, and then when I run my code now, it should give me something more meaningful. So my age is 5. Now it doesn't change the original value, which is 5. It doesn't change it. So if I use age again, age will behave as an integer. So I can change age to 15, and then I save and then I run, and then my age is now 15, which is a good thing. So I can do that. I can do that. Now you can cast from one format to the other, but not from other formats. So to the other. So I can cast an integer to a string. Okay, but I will not be able to cast a string to an integer because it wouldn't make sense. I mean, so how do I cast, let's say, age to an integer? It wouldn't really make sense. And then also complex numbers also will not allow that. One thing that you should know also is that now age is 15. I can always create a variable, set its value, and then change the value once again. So whilst age is 15, I can say that age is now 30. So if I call age by printing age, can you guess what I'm going to get? Is it going to print 15 or 30? Ta-da-da! So you have here 30. So it's printing 30. So what it means is that whenever you call a variable and you create data, and then you call the variable again and then you reassign it data, then it's going to change. It's going to keep the new data in memory and then delete the old one. Python is case sensitive. It's case sensitive. So age with all small letters is not the same thing as age with all capital letters. So let's say I store age to be 15, and then I want to print age, and then I now use this. It's not going to work. Why? Because Python doesn't recognize it. So that is one thing to note when writing your code, that Python is case sensitive. So age is not the same thing as age. So age has to be age with small letters. We talked about strings in Python. So my name is equals to Steven. My name is equals to Steven. Steven, a free. Now I can print name. Okay, so I can print name. So my name, I can print my name. So as soon as I type my name, you realize that Visual Studio Code suggests to me some words or suggests to me some item that I may be interested in. So I have the variable I created earlier, and then some other keywords, some functions. Okay, so that is one thing that makes Visual Studio Code very useful to help you to write your codes very quickly, and then all that. So my name, and then I can print, and then I should get sorry. So let's okay, so let's just do this. Let me clear this. Okay, let me just yeah, so let me just do it. So I can now run, and then so Steven free. Okay, Now, Python can accept, what if I have a very long string? Okay, so let's say something like maybe like a whole passage or something. Okay, what if I have something like that, and then I want to, so let's say I have this data. Okay, so I want to store all of this, okay, in a string. That is allowed. So I want to store all of this in a string. How do I do that? Okay, so you can do that using 3 quotes. Let me point out this one to you. So Stephen, okay, storing Stephen free in a double quote is the same thing as storing Stephen free in single quote. It all depends on what you find more convenient with. I am used to using the double quote. Okay, so let's get back to what I was doing. So I want to store that whole text. So what I'll do is I will use, okay, so I'll use 3 double quotes. Okay, so now I can paste whichever text that I have, and then I can skip down to, let's say, okay, so good, and then maybe I can also do this. Great. So you can see that I have stored the entire passage in 3 double quotes. So that is what we call multi-line. Okay, so multi-line string. So when I print my name, it should still work. Sorry, just got confused. Where am I writing my codes? Okay, so when I print my name, okay, when I run, it should still work. So you notice that it works. So this is my editor window, and this is my terminal. So this is where the output works. Okay, so when you are using, let's say, the default Python application, then it may look a bit different. Great. Okay, so yeah, so we can also talk about Boolean. Okay, so let's talk about Boolean. So Boolean basically indicates true or false. Okay, so Boolean indicates true or false. Now let's look at how that works. Let's look at how that works. Okay, so so before we move to Boolean, let me also show you something very useful. Okay, which especially with strings, which has to do with we will talk about it when we talk about array, but I can just point them to us. So let's say my name, okay, my name is equals to Stephen free. Okay, now this is a data in Python. Data in Python is accessible. Strings in Python is accessible. What it means is that STEPH can all be accessed using its index. In Python, we count from 0 onwards, and then when we are counting back, we have -1 onwards. So this is X, okay, and which is index 0. This is T, which is index 1, and then so on. Okay, so what it means is that I can access any of these data by using its index. So when I say index 0, so this is in, and this is this sentence, it's list, and then we'll be using that a lot. So I can access my name, and so when I print, so I can just print this. Okay, I can just print this. Okay, and then it should give me S. Okay, and then when I want to access the last letter, which is -1, okay, I can access it. Well, we'll do this a lot. And then you can also slice. So slice means you want to access maybe a group of some data, not the last, not the first, but you want to access data within. So let's say I want to access PH and then E. So if I want to access PH and then E, notice that S is 0, T is 1, E is 2. Okay, so when I want to access P, H, and E, I'll start by accessing from slicing from 2, and this is how we indicate that we are slicing. So 0, 1, 2, and then I want to access P, H, and E, so 3, 4, and then 5. Okay, 5. Okay, so I would say 6, because when I slice, Python is going to ignore the last letter. I mean the last item, which is the 6th index. So 0 index, 1 index, 2. So it starts coming from 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I'm interested in E, which is the 5th index, then my last my end index should be H, which is 6. So when I print this, I should get so I should get 0, 1, 2. So 3 rather, because I want to start counting from PH. So PH and then E. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So you start counting from 3. So 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then it will ignore the last letter, which is 6. So when I run this again, save, and then it should give me PH and then E. So we won't spend so much time on this. We'll talk about it when we are doing the second part. Okay, so we'll do a lot of this. Okay, so so we can also change something in a string. Okay, so we can access we can change something in a string. So I can say that my name, okay, my name, let's say dot replace, okay, dot replace, and then what am I replacing? So I can say maybe I want to replace. I can use this to access. So maybe I want to replace S, which is 0 index 0, and then I want to replace it with, let's say with B. Okay, so let's say B. Okay, so like this. Okay, so when I now print my name, okay, so it should okay, so let's see. I think it should rather be, let's say S. Okay, let me see. Print. Okay, let's. Okay, print. Okay, so yes, so once you do the replace, it applies the replacement directly on the text. Okay, so you have to do that. And then what other thing can you do on a string? So you can remove white space. So let's say I want to remove space, let's say I have a space before or after. Okay, so this is it's not a very good practice, especially when you are doing data management or data science. Okay, so you want to remove this space. Then you can also use the strip. Okay, you can use the strip. So it's strip. Okay, so these are strip, and then you indicate exactly what you want to strip. I want to strip my name. Okay, so when I run, okay, sorry, so I already have, it has to be empty space. So my name, and then I'm stripping this. Okay, so it now removes the spaces before. So these are properties that you can perform on strings. Okay, so you can do that. You can also split. So let's say I have this. Okay, and then I can. So if you can, so you can also split. So I want to split this, and then I want to split using this. Okay, this comma. Okay, so I can do that, and then it's splits, and then it creates an array. So a list. It creates a list and then puts the data in them. So you have Steven and then a free as a list. Okay, so let me remove these spaces. Okay, and then run it again, and then you can have that. So these are a lot of stuff that you can do, and then we talk about concatenating. So let's say if I have maybe my first name is equals to Steven. Okay, and then my last name is equals to a free. So I can join my names together, so I can do a normal concatenation. So I can just say my first name, okay, plus, and then I will bring this space to create a space when I join them together, and then plus again, because I am concatenating all three, my first name, the space, and then my last name. Okay, and then let's see what I get when I run. So you can see Steven free, and then it concatenates it very nicely. So there are a lot of stuff that you can do with tests, and then you can spend some time and then research. Okay, so let's talk about Boolean, and then I think that should be the last thing. So Boolean basically prints true or false depending on what is right or what is true or not. So if a given code evaluates to true, Boolean prints true. If not, it prints false. For instance, if I say I want to say that 5 is greater than 10. Is 5 actually greater than 10? I don't think so. So let's let Python decide. So 5 is greater than 10. So this is an operator, and we look at operator, I think the last item. So 5 is greater than 10. And then I ask Python to print this. So it's like I am asking Python to do something. So Python would have to know or have to evaluate whether what I am saying is true or what I'm saying is false. So if it is true, Python would say yes, it's true. If it's false, Python would say it's false. So print 5 greater than 10. So Python indicates it's false. What if I say print Python is less than 10? Python says it's true. And then what if I say this? Okay, Python is 5 is equal to 10. Python is saying it's false. What if I say 15 is equals to 15? Okay, and then Python is saying it is true. So notice I didn't say equals to. In Python, equals to is an assignment. So when you use 1 equal to sign, it's as an assignment. You are saying that 15 is being assigned to 15. And we use that when we create variables. We saw that. So when we say a is equals to 5, so we are saying that we are assigning 5 to be a. But this time around, we are saying we are comparing. Okay, so we are evaluating two numbers, 15 and 15. And then we are asking, is it true? Are they equals to? So we use this double to indicate that yes. Okay, and then aside that, you can also have not equals to. Okay, so we are saying that 15 is not equals to 15. Python will say it is false. Why? Because 15 is equals to 15, and then so on. So you can have these Boolean values and then all that, and it could be used in conditional statements. Okay, it can be used to check conditional statements. So we are not using conditional statement now, but let's say if I say maybe a is equals to, or let's say s is equals to 100, y is equals to 200, and then we can see that if s is equals to if s is equals to y, okay, then we can say print, s is, let's say, greater than y. Then we can also have else. So else maybe print y is greater than x. Good. So let's run this code and then see. So y is greater than x. Okay, so we created x, assigned it with 100. We created y, assigned it with 200. So we are asking ourselves, is s greater than y? And this is how you ask questions, or you find out conditions in Python. Is x greater than y? Is 100 greater than 200? Oh no, it's not true. So whatever statements, Python evaluates this, and then the code under the condition will only evaluate if the Boolean is true, or Python evaluate it true. Because Python is saying s is not greater than 100, it's false. It skips the code, and then in the next catch statement, okay, we are saying else. So notice that we are not asking. We could have asked another condition, and then if it was false, Python would have skipped. But we are just catching, and then we are just saying that once the first code evaluates to false, do anything that appears in the second code. So even if it is not the case, Python is still going to print it. So let's say if we say y is also 100, okay, so they are both the same number. So this greater than y is false. Okay, so if I print, it's still going to tell me y is greater than x, even though y is not greater than x, because we are just doing that. We could have just asked another condition, so which is the elif. So elif, and then we can say that y greater than x, print y is greater than x. Okay, if we run this code, okay, nothing happens. Why? Because first condition is false, second condition is false. So we need to provide a catch, which is the else. Okay, and then we can now comfortably say that else print x and y. So x and y are equal, which makes sense. Okay, which makes a lot of sense, because if x is not greater than y, y is not greater than x, then definitely y and x should be the same. So s and y are equal. So you can
go ahead and then look into that. Okay. Now, Python, I told you, has some operators. Okay, so you can. Python has operators. Okay, so Python has operators. So operators allows us to evaluate, to do math, to perform logic, conditions, and then all that. So the first operator in Python, okay, is the arithmetic operator. So arithmetic operator. Arithmetic operator, okay, which is plus, minus, division, and so on. Okay, division and then so on. Then Python also have the assignment operator. So 2 is the assignment. Okay, assignment operator. So the arithmetic operators are used for numeric values to perform common maths and operations. So plus, minus, multiplication, division, modulus, raised to the power, exponentiation. Okay, that is this, and then so on. Okay, so for instance, if I say print, okay, 3 exponent 3, okay, print 3 exponent 3. So you are printing 3 raised to the power 3, which should give us 27. So 3 times 3 times 3, which gives us 27. Okay, and then so on. So the assignment operator, if you look at it, so let's look at the assignment operator. So the assignment operators are used to assign values. Okay, so the basic assignment operator, it's a is equals to 5. So this is an assignment operator. Now we can also say that a, okay, is, let's say a is equals to a plus 5. Okay, we can say a is equals to a plus 5, which is very yeah. So we can say a is equals to 5. Okay, and then we can simplify this and just say a plus is equals to 5. So if we print, let's say, so we have a already, so a is equals to 5. A is equals to 5. So when we print a is equals to 5, okay, a is equal to a plus 5, then it means we have a and then we are adding a to it again. Okay, so that should give us 10. So let me delete this. That should give us 10. So we can simplify that and say a is equals to, so the way we do that is by deleting the first a. Okay, we just delete the first a. So we have a is equals to plus 5, and then sorry, so it's a plus is equals to 5. So a plus is equals to 5. So what we'll do is that we'll delete this. Okay, so we'll copy this. Okay, and then we will put it here. Okay, a plus is equals to 5. So we'll delete this. Okay, so a plus is equals to 5, and then it should give you 10. So you can try other with negative, minus and multiplication. Then we have comparison operator, which we have looked at. Okay, which we mostly use. Okay, so for instance,
we can compare two numbers. 5 is equals to 7. Okay, we are saying that 5 and 7 are the same, which we can use print, okay, and then it's going to evaluate in with Boolean, okay. So if we do this, it's going to evaluate to false, and then when we say not equals to, and then not equals to, then you see that it's true, which works this time. Then you can try them, okay. And then we also have logical operators, so and or not, okay. So mostly we use that when we're evaluating some conditions, okay. So you can say that if so if we say s, if s is less than, let's say 5, and s is less than, let's say 10. Okay, so what is s? Now let's provide s. So let's say s is 3. Okay. Okay. So print. So print, let's say s. Okay, so what we are saying that s is equal to, so here we are saying if s is not 5 and s is not 10. So in logical operators, this will only return, okay, so we say print true. Or let me just do this. Okay, I think this should work. Okay, so if I run, good. So in logical operators, okay, in the end, okay, so here what we are saying is that both statements have to evaluate to true. So s is equal to, s should be less than 5, and then s should be less than 10. If not, and then let's say s is 8. So if s is 8, what it means is that this condition will be false, this will be true. So because one of them evaluates to false, then we are going to get the evaluation to be false. But we can use or instead, so that or will only work, all will print true as long as one of at least 2 or more conditions evaluate to true. So we are going to get to why, because s is indeed less than 10, though s is not less than 5, and then so on. So you can do that. You can also have operators, and then so on. Okay, guys, so I hope you've learned a lot. I don't know how this video has been long. I'm kind of exhausted. I've never done such a long video for a while. So leave your comments, let me know what you think, and then I'll see you in the part 2 where we talk about more advanced stuffs. Okay, so see you, have a nice day, bye.